Okay, so I want to talk about Chris Christie right quick. I just saw a little story that, okay, Chris Christie is essentially attacking Trump's base. For what reason? I have no idea. Calling them reprehensible for following this man, right? And some of them, they have the what I would call anti-Trump derangement syndrome. They just follow him regardless. Trump. I do reluctantly follow Trump. I will say that I'm not a big fan of Trump. He's got a lot of flaws, man. He does. He really does. But he's our best bet to get some of this corruption out, I think. Vivek Ramaswamy is my first pick. And I've stated that before. I've stated that several times. I would much rather have Vivek in there because Vivek's plan is genius, man. He's wanting to lay off like a bunch of bureaucrats and get rid of some of this stuff. That'll cut a buttload of government spending. That'll get our fiscal responsibility back where it needs to be. We might actually be able to balance the budget, work with Congress, do what we got to do to get this country back on track. We're heavily divided right now, and we need somebody to bring us together. I don't know if Vivek Ramaswamy is the right person to do that, but I think Vivek Ramaswamy has a much better chance of doing that than Donald Trump. But considering where Donald Trump is in the polls and considering where Chris Christie is in the polls, it's completely ridiculous for this man to go out and attack Donald Trump's base. How stupid is that, man? I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk about that and get it out of the way because the story we have coming up does involve Donald Trump, kind of, in a roundabout way, but enough screwing around. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? I hope y'all are having a pretty good day. I'm going to go ahead and say it right off the top. We love to do it. Go ahead, smash that like button for me if you don't mind. It would be a very, very big help. The algorithm loves it. The algorithm does not like people that just watch the video. They want you to engage with the video. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Chris Christie going after Trump's base. I mean, is that a good idea? I don't think it is. I think it's a stupid idea, in my honest opinion. But let's go ahead, get into this story right quick. This is some interesting crap. Volodymyr Zelensky pushes U.S. for more aid, invites Donald Trump to Ukraine. That's right. Volodymyr Zelensky wants Donald Trump to go over to Ukraine to check everything out, as if that's going to help. But let's get into it, y'all. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky called on the United States to provide more funding to help his forces counter Russia and invited former U.S. President Donald Trump to fly in to see the scale of the conflict for himself. Zelensky said American soldiers could eventually be pulled into a greater European conflict with Russia if Washington does not step up support. Yeah, right. I don't believe that whatsoever. If Russia will kill all of us, they will attack NATO countries, and you will send your sons and daughters to fight, Volodymyr Zelensky said, according to a transcript of an interview with NBC's Meet the Press broadcast on Sunday. Now, that, to me, is complete nonsense. Do we really think that Vladimir Putin would roll into NATO territories and just start a war with NATO? Invading Ukraine to get a land bridge to the Black Sea is one thing. That was obviously what he's trying to do. You can see that with the lines that he's made. Those lines haven't changed much, ever since that war started. It's obvious Russia wanted to take the Donbass and, Donetsk and Luhansk and all that right there. He wanted his land bridge to Crimea so he could have his access to the Black Sea. Because he hasn't gone much further than that, like I said. Those lines haven't changed much. They've gone back and forth a little bit, but Russia seems to be completely fine sitting where they're sitting. Doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So for somebody to tell me that he will eventually take over Ukraine and roll into NATO territory and start World War III is completely outrageous in my view. Do you really think this guy is willing to destroy his entire country for that? Do you think his own people will allow that? I doubt it, man. If he does that, he knows just as well as we do here in the West that's going to trigger World War III, and the entire northern hemisphere of the planet is going to be a wasteland for the most part. They have nukes. I read another article where Russia was testing a new submarine, intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, from one of their subs. Yeah, that's just saber rattling right there. That's saying that if we push into Russia, they're gonna use their nukes. And just the same, you know, if Russia tries to push into the NATO territory, we're gonna use our nukes. I mean, that's clear. That's what has averted World War III, is MAD, or mutually assured destruction. And it is mutually assured destruction. We might totally destroy Russia, and they might not be able to totally destroy the West, but I can almost assure you they will totally destroy Western Europe. Our biggest cities will probably be taken out, including Washington, D.C. That'll probably be one of the first targets. So nobody wants this, obviously. So for somebody to tell me that Russia is willing to roll into NATO territory is just complete nonsense, and is, in my opinion, mainstream propaganda from the mainstream industrial complex, the mainstream news industrial complex, that is. But let's keep going with this story. U.S. President Joe Biden, a Democrat, has pressed the U.S. Congress to pass a $106 billion supplemental spending bill, with the bulk of the money going to bolster Ukraine's defenses and the remainder split among Israel, the Indo-Pacific, and the border enforcement, which, you know, that whole border enforcement, the little bit of money for the border, that's a dog whistle for Republicans to vote for it. But he doesn't realize that Mike Johnson ain't going to do that. Mike Johnson's going to split all this stuff up, or nothing is going to happen. Hopefully. The Republican-led U.S. House of Representatives has instead put forward its own funding plan. It passed a bill last week to provide $14.3 billion in aid to Israel, but did not include any increase for aid for Ukraine. That's right. Because nobody cares about Ukraine anymore. We want that fighting to stop. Ukraine has lost enough people that we need to put a stop to that. U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer, majority leader of the Democratic-controlled Senate, said he would not bring the House bill to a vote, and Biden has vowed to veto it. Yeah. See? They're not going to go anywhere with that. In the interview broadcast on Sunday, Zelensky invited Trump, a Republican, to visit Ukraine and see the fallout of the conflict initiated by Russia's President Vladimir Putin in February 2022. Trump, who is seeking re-election in 2024 and is the leading candidate for his party's presidential nomination, has been sharply critical of U.S. support for Kyiv and has said he could end the conflict in 24 hours if re-elected. If he came here, I will need 24 minutes to explain to President Trump that he can't manage this war, Volodymyr Zelensky said. He can't bring peace because of Putin. Now, I don't believe that whatsoever. I do believe Trump could end that war, but I don't think Zelensky would like it whatsoever. But Trump is a really good negotiator, and Zelensky has no options. If we cut off funding for Ukraine, he's going to have no option left. He's going to have to concede. That's it, man. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments what y'all think about that. But I don't believe that Zelensky is that stupid. If he gets his funding cut off, he can't fight. He can't continue to fight. Like I've said before in other videos, you know, let that be, build up your forces, come back later and take that land back whenever you can. But as far as beating Russia, no, we're not going to do that. The only way Russia's going to be defeated is if the entire northern hemisphere gets destroyed, essentially. And I don't think anybody wants that. And there's no amount of Zelensky's threats. That's essentially what it is. Zelensky is trying to threaten us, saying, you know, he's going to take over NATO territory. No, that's bullshit. We all know that's bullshit. But let me know what you guys think, and that's all I got for this one. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you not subscribed, bruh, please hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications, so every time I put out a video, it'll come up in your feed and you'll know about it. But thanks for watching, everybody, and do me a favor. Be positive. Peace.